Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today, we are diving back into the world of Mercy Thompson before the latest release of Winter Lost. If you would like to see this in video format, without commercials, you'll need to head on over to Patreon and sign up. There's a ton of content there for you to watch, including after shows, reading blogs, and more. If you are listening on the Spreaker app, by signing up as a supporter, you have access to after shows and other exclusive content in audio only. If you prefer videos, then you should check out Patreon instead. You can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Clubs app for even more bookish chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heartful of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Ooh, I'm excited for this one too.
Yes.
It's going to be a good one.
So good. It's one of our favorite series. We could talk about this for hours. So we'll try to limit ourselves to just 1 hour.
We'll try. We'll try our best. We don't know what you're going to get till we're done.
Yeah.
Casey, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay. So before we begin, we want to give you a extra strong spoiler warning for this one, because we are going way back to the beginning of this series that came out in 2008. A lot of books, a lot of time.
We're deep diving into every detail. We are revealing all of the bad guys, all of the major plot points. If you've never read this, you probably don't want to listen to us.
Well, let's put a caveat. If you've never read it and you want to read it, you probably don't want this. But if you've read it, but you haven't touched these books in a long time, this will be good for you. Or if you haven't read it and you're like, I don't really want to read all those books, but I want to know what's happening, so maybe I can start with the recent book, this also would be good for you, I think.
Yes.
So this is the longest spoiler warning we've ever given, so don't you dare say we spoiled it, because we did on purpose.
On purpose. We're spoiling everything on purpose.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go back to the beginning with Moon Called.
Moon Called, where it all began.
Yes. The book that we've both read like a gazillion times.
So many times. Oh my God. I love that book.
It. Me too. It's like my absolute favorite. It got me pretty much addicted to this immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I read that book and I was like, I want to be Mercy when I grow up. And now that I'm grown up, I'm like, I still want to be Mercy when I grow up.
I wouldn't mind being Mercy. I mean, my gosh, I would love to be able to just switch into a coyote and fall in love with a hot, werewolf. And, it's like growing up with a bunch of brothers and, it's great. It sounds great. Unless you're Mercy, then she probably hates it. But
she complains a lot, but we love her and we love living through her vicariously.
Absolutely. So Moon Called, let's go back in time. What was happening there? We get introduced to her.
So Mercy has been alone for like the last 10 years, hasn't really dealt with any of the supernatural things. But then a young boy, Mac, stumbles into her garage and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose because he's a newly turned werewolf. So she calls the annoying alpha Adam, who's her next door neighbor, and, really
so
hot,
annoying.
but so annoying, to come help her with Mac. And he does. And then more bad guys show up, kill Mac, take Adam and his pack and his daughter Jessie, and Mercy has to go save the day.
Yes, right out the gate, Mercy is like saving Adam. The wolves.
Yes. She saves Adam a lot through the whole series, and I love that.
She's ongoing saving him physically and like emotionally saving his ass the whole entire time they know each other. But isn't that like par for the course with relationships? You're always saving these dudes, and even if he's an alpha, he needs to get saved.
And Adam needs a lot of saving. We love him, but he needs help.
Yeah, he does. And in this first book, we also get introduced to a lot of the werewolves. We get introduced to Stefan, as I say, or Stefan, as we say. We both alternate back and forth on that name.
He is the vampire who owns the Mystery Machine Scooby-Doo van that Mercy works on with him. We also get introduced to Z and his son Tad, who taught Mercy everything she knows about cars, gave her the garage that she works at, is her mentor / quasi-father figure-ish, but that's also Bran, because then we go up to Bran and meet him and Samuel and Charles.
So let's not forget, so Z and Son are like powerful fae. So we've
Tad
met.
is half fae.
Yes, but he's still pretty strong for half fae.
Very strong.
Yeah, but Z is the business. He's very, very strong. So we got wolves, we have vamps, we have fae. We also meet witches. Elizaveta showed up in this book. Who else? We meet oh my God, Adam's daughter, Jessie in this book. And of course, we learn about Bran, the Marak, and some other members of the pack.
Yeah.
Our go-tos of like Daryl and Warren and Ben, right?
Yes. Lovely Ben, who likes to curse a lot.
Yeah. He's so British. He's cursing. If he's not cursing, something is very wrong.
Yes.
He's great. But in this book, he doesn't start out that way. We're like, what's his problem?
We all kind of hate him at first. Mercy really doesn't like him. It's not until the end of Iron Kissed that we learn his backstory, but that's book 3. So we'll get to that.
Yeah. So I guess essentially that's all we need to know about book 1.
Well,
in
ending.
Book 1 there's actually in book 1 also we could tell there's like Stefan really likes her.
That comes out more in book 2, Bloodbound. But you kind of get the hint that he likes her. We know there's some sexual tension between her and Adam. Then Samuel comes onto the picture when we discover that Mercy was kicked out of Bran's pack because Samuel wanted to run away with her and get pregnant.
Oh God.
Because he wants kids and he thought she might be able to give him kids. And
it should be noted Samuel's old as fuck and Mercy was 16.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I don't think Mercy knew how old he was at the time.
No. But she wouldn't have cared. She liked him a lot.
She might have cared. He was old as fuck. Like, talk about a very dangerous age gap.
Like, yeah, that was pretty bad. So, I mean, I don't blame Bran for running her off.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then later, which we'll talk about, I still can't wrap my mind around the idea that people think that Bran had eyes for Mercy in a non-fatherly way.
Vomit face.
Ugh. I'm like, what? I never really picked that up at all. I didn't at all. And so for the characters to just be kind of putting that out there, and it came out, and I think Burn Bright,
yeah.
They were and so Burn Bright is the Alpha and Omega book 5. And they were talking about, how they used to, okay, never mind. We'll get to it.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it. But
so Moon called. Let's rein ourselves back in. Moon called.
It's hard to not jump around. It's so hard.
We discover that there is a werewolf named Gary who is working with humans to develop a weapon against other werewolves. We defeat Gary, we defeat these people, but we still don't know how deep it goes.
Right.
Also, at the same time, Charles gets on a plane and flies to Chicago, where he meets his mate Anna and destroys Leo, who was the alpha who turned Mac, who went to Mercy. So
yes, and that kicks off. That's where Cry Wolf begins, or technically, I guess the prequel. Technically,
the novella takes place like at the same time, and then Cry Wolf book 1 and the Alpha and Omega series takes place like 2 days later, and that's Anna and Charles starting to fall in love and realize that, like, yes, we can be safe together, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's very good. I agree.
Bloodbound.
Yeah, Bloodbound. Oh, the vampire-y book.
Yes, this is where we really realize that Stefan has more than just friendly feelings for Mercy.
Yes. And side note, do you say Stefan or Stefan?
I change it.
I think I lean towards Stefan because that's what I remember from. That's how I think they say it in the audiobooks, and that's what I remember hearing in the Vampire Diaries. So my brain automatically says,
Oh yeah, in the
Stefan.
Vampire Diaries, his name is Stefan. But
Yes.
this is very Italian, and they keep
I
calling him so
know.
Italian. So I'm like, Stefan.
Okay, girl.
Sorry.
Y'all, let me tell you. I talked to the author. I met the author a couple years ago, and I asked her
Mhm.
which is correct. You know, she said she had the nerve to say he doesn't care. Call him what you want. He's fine with either way. I'm like, how dare you?
I just go back and forth. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But look, you know me. I like to be right, and she could not do it. She would not do it. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I go back and forth now too. I find myself saying Stefan as well. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a little fun story. Being
love
he's the main character of this one. So
Stefan, he's very much in love with Mercy. They go on an adventure. They discover that there is I think he's a wizard that is being controlled / what's the word? There's a demon inside of him.
Yeah, a demon-ridden vampire / sorcerer. I think he was.
Sorcerer, that's the word. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very powerful, very scary. Ultimately, Adam, Samuel, and Mercy. No, Mercy saves it. Adam, Samuel, and Stefan all get trapped. Mercy comes and saves the day because she's Mercy.
Yeah, she saves everyone again.
And also she has this weird thing with magic where sometimes it works against her and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the type of magic and, you know.
Yeah. Something unique about these demons, I guess, they feed off of anger and fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that was very different because there was like, the demon-written vampire / sorcerers, like just killing and framing vampires in the process. It was like they didn't know who was doing it. It was a lot of confusion. Yeah, it was a lot going on. And of course, that's the one thing I like about even this book, when it's kind of seems like it's vampire focused, still everyone is in the mix, right?
Yes.
Every time. And I think Z helped her with this.
I think so. I think he gave her a sword or gave her a magical something or other.
Yeah, he always pulls something out of the closet. Hey, here you go.
Z helps her a lot. Mm-hmm. He really does. If he ever turns bad, I will lay down and die. I know he's been a really evil creature for millennia. Like, he is terrifying. He's worse than the boogeyman for so many fae.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only been nice for like a couple of decades. So in the span of, everything, he hasn't been nice for very long. But I could not handle it if he turned evil. He needs to wait until after Mercy is dead before he can go back to his evil ways.
If he turns evil, I think he'll be like the evil guy that still won't do anything bad to her. I feel like it's possible he could, but she'll be the one exception.
Her and Tad.
To his, yeah.
He would protect
He won't
his
do
son.
anything to his son. No. He's always got his son's back. Or, now Mercy, I feel like she has become like an adopted child to him. I feel like he feels that way about her. So even if he turns evil and is killing the whole world and Mercy has to take him down, if that ever happens, I guess he'll probably just lay down and die because he won't kill her. He won't kill her.
No, he wouldn't. But in the midst of Bloodbound, there's all kinds of sexual tension going on because Samuel's here. He's living with Mercy at the time. And and
he loves her too, of course. He loves her.
But he also loves riling up Adam. So Adam's trying to like be flirtatious, but Samuel has to, butt in and be like, well, I'm here too. I'm living in the bedroom next to hers or whatever. So that's going on, and that's fun.
So she was like the hottest chick in town.
Mhm.
She had that thing going on. She's like, hey, I got a vampire who wants me. I got 2 wolves that want me. I got my pick of the litter. I can do what I want. I'm like, are you that hot though? According to her, no, she's not even that hot. So according to her own self. So,
Yes.
You know, she's got grease under her nails. She's a mechanic. She like,
She's
you know?
Mercy. I think they're more drawn to her personality. But, you know, according to all of these awesome book covers, she's hot as fuck. So, like...
Yeah, she looks hot in these book covers. So,
yeah.
I mean, she's definitely got the right body. That's for sure.
Yes.
So that's probably a little bit what's attractive as well. And plus, you know, most of these people have known her. Well, I don't know. As long as she's lived there is how long Stefan has known her.
So 10-ish years, I think, at this point. About 10 years.
For once, though, spoiler, the vampire doesn't get the girl.
Neither did Samuel. Samuel didn't really want her either, but we've talked about that more in book 3.
Yeah. All right. Is that the highlights for book 2, you think?
I think so.
Book 3 is Iron Kissed, and we kind of like switch gears, so we're making the rounds. We're kind of focused on the Fae this time.
And the humans. It gets real nasty with the humans in this book. So there's a whole faction of humans with the John Lawrence and the Bright Futures Society.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
yes.
No, that's this book.
Oh, God. That's right, with that fucking cup.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So,
I feel traumatized because of that.
We all are. Mercy's still traumatized.
She is.
The lovely Z, who we just, you know, gushed over, has been accused of murder, I think. Or he's, he's on the outs. Mercy has to save him because, you know, she saves everybody. So she tries to infiltrate the Bright Futures, or whatever the name is, Bright Futures, I think.
Yeah, it is Bright Futures.
Okay. So she tries to infiltrate, ends up meeting a human man who seems kind of meh, but she keeps coming back to him and she can't figure out why. And he has this magical cup because he's been collecting Fae artifacts. And if she drinks every time she drinks from the cup, she does everything he says.
Yeah, she does not have her free will at all after she drinks from this cup.
Nope. And
to be honest, when I read it, I had a note here about, you know, really, this is due to her own lack of, you know, awareness and sloppy investigating.
A little bit, yeah. And she's definitely getting a lot better about it in the future.
She's improved. But because she had to learn from this lesson, she really didn't think that he was anything to worry about.
Yeah, no. She dismissed humans the way every other paranormal creature dismisses humans.
Yeah. And she paid for that in the end because she barely made it out of this one alive. The author really took it there. She was really close to being dead.
Oh, yeah. It was rough.
Yeah, it took a very scary and dark turn for her.
At the same time, she was really building that bond with Adam, and it was becoming very apparent that she was picking Adam over Samuel and Stefan and anybody else. It was Adam for her. And that really gets solidified in this book. And I don't want to talk about it. But the person who hurt Mercy is very, very dead. And then we learn about Ben's history.
Yeah, which is also another really sad, traumatic type of thing as well. Like a lot of trauma, you know?
A lot of trauma. A lot of werewolves are very traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah, there were definitely some hard hitters in this book as far as like the seriousness of the story.
Oh yeah, no, it's a rough one and one I usually skip in a reread or like I'll skip parts of it. But I really appreciate the fact that Patricia Briggs brings up Mercy's PTSD sporadically throughout because PTSD is very random and every once in a while something will trigger Mercy and then she'll be like, God damn it, I hate PTSD. I wish this was better. But
and it just doesn't, you don't go through what she went through and it just disappear.
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with that kind of shit forever.
Yes.
Kind of like how similarly Anna still has
Mhm.
like moments of trauma, like the PTSD that she had comes back up.
Oh, absolutely.
6
Yeah.
books in, she's like, "Fuck, I thought I was over this shit. Apparently not." So, I can appreciate the consistency in that.
Yep.
Because that
Absolutely.
shows us the seriousness of it. Because some authors, something crazy happens and then bam, they're over it. You're like, what?
Yeah. They're over it. They're fine. Nothing bad.
Mhm.
Everything's great and dandy and happy. And you're just like, no, that's not real life. So
No,
that's
it's
one of the
not.
best things that Patricia Briggs does, is that she really hammers home the fact that trauma lingers. PTSD is random and sporadic, but it lingers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think even like with these first 3 books, the arc here,
Mhm.
I mean, the pacing is so fast.
Oh,
It's like breakneck speed
Mhm.
fast, all 3 of these books. And it's
Mhm.
like you can just consume them like bam, 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 bam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really like hard hitting, shit's going down. Every 2 seconds, something bad's happening. And it's Mercy. You're rooting for her. You're hoping she's
Yeah.
going to get better. You're like, oh, God, girl, stop. Don't go into his house. Don't be this
Don't
dumb.
do it. Don't
Stop
do
it. Be
Yeah.
smarter than this. Listen to your instincts.
This book brings the emotions that a lot. I don't think I've reached that level of like anger about things since that book. I don't think anything's been that bad
No.
since then. And I
Mm-mm.
think the author knows she traumatized all of us.
Mhm.
She's like,
She's
let
like,
me
we
lay
went
off.
a little too far, but
Yeah,
but the bad
let's
stuff still happens to Mercy
Mhm.
throughout, and
Mhm.
she's not hunky dory,
but not
happy,
violation in that kind
but
of
not
way.
that bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
if that happened
that was
again,
horrible.
I think half the readers would stop reading. I'd be like, I'm
You
just gonna
know,
pretend this never happened. We
Look,
want
that
Mercy
would
to
be
be
the
happy.
line.
Mhm.
It's like, when you hear about, well, I don't know, if those of you that watched The Walking Dead, there was one season where something really horrible happens. Negan happens, and I'll just say a bat. And after this
Yeah.
scene, people bounced.
I did.
Like a lot
That was
of
me.
people were like, I can't fucking do it.
That was me. That was
Uh-huh.
me. I watched and I went,
Deuces. I'm out.
I'm out. I never watched
Yeah.
anything of it again. Like I saw
Yes.
that one bat scene. I was like, nope, never
Mhm.
again. I'm done.
So I think that's why Briggs is like, I'm not going to do that again because I got too close to the line there.
Yep. Yep.
So
You can do bad things, but you don't want to do that continuously.
yeah,
So
exactly. So I can't even remember do we care about the ending of that book? Do we care about was there anything hot at the
Z. We
ending?
figure out Z is innocent. They call the Fae. The Fae come collect all of the artifacts and everything that the human had, and they don't thank her because the Fae don't thank people, but they're like, we appreciate what you did for us, and
you definitely never thanked
Uncle
them
Mike
either.
who saved her? Somebody saved her because she drank way too much liquid or out of the cup. And somebody, I think it was a Fae, helps her like reject or purge all of it.
Oh yeah, I don't remember who though, but
I don't either. That's a detail I need to go back and reread. But anyway.
Or not.
Or not. Bone Cross.
Okay. Bone Cross is up next, book 4. And this is, I feel like we got to dig a little bit into her stuff, right?
So yeah, she's very traumatized after the end of the 3rd book, and she, needs to deal with her emotions. So instead of staying home, her friend from college calls her and asks for help, so she gets in her car and just drives away.
She sure does. She's like, sure, I'll come help you.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in my head. I don't want to look at people. I don't want to think about anything. So she leaves, which is good.
Yeah, so
she needs
that. Enter Ghost. The first time ever, ghosts come on the scene in Bone Cross.
I think we've seen ghosts.
Not in such an active way. I feel like Mercy has seen ghosts like a lot, because she can see them.
Yeah, no, I
think
that's
a part of her skills.
Like we've seen the one ghost walking around with her shopping cart.
Yes, but not like actively.
Yeah, but we haven't seen any active ghosts.
Yeah.
And a very scary vampire also pops up in here too.
Mm-hmm. Of course it does.
And
wait. So the last book, did Stefan bite her?
I
Did
think
he
it's
bite her
this
in the last book? It's this one. Okay.
I think this is the one because the other vampire keeps eating
That's
Mercy
right.
in her
That's
sleep.
right.
And so she calls
he's like, yes.
He calls her, or she calls Stefan, and he's like, I need to bind you to me so
to stop this
vampire doesn't control you. And she agrees to it,
thinking
that it will go away. Spoiler, it does not.
Shit. So this vampire, I think he was just called the monster in his own community. He didn't even have a name.
He didn't have a name. He didn't have a seath. He was just kind of on his own. He would find humans to just, control and eat. And I think her friend's husband was a lawyer or something. So he wanted to have a lawyer under his thumb doing all his lawyerly stuff. So, yeah, Mercy gets to talk to the kid. There was a kid.
A deaf kid who could use sign language. That was kind of cool.
And Stefan could too. Stefan came in and helped.
Yeah, I'm like, when did we didn't know he could. Vampires are very old. They do a lot of things that we don't expect.
Yes.
They have a lot of skills. So let's see. What else interesting happened here?
Well, they kill the vampire. But the most important thing of this book is that Mercy willingly accepts the bond from Stefan. And that comes up in Silence Fallen, which is book 10. So Patricia Briggs will make something happen in an early book, and then 10 or 6 books later is like, hey, remember that thing? It's really fucking important.
Yeah, and in this book, she actually kind of didn't want to do it. She kind of knew this can't be good. But what other choice do I have? Kind of thing.
So Mercy doesn't like being controlled, especially after book 3. She doesn't like having somebody who can take away her free will. And
honestly, that's been in her being since the beginning. She pushed back against them rocks so hard.
Oh, yes.
Against all the wolves. I'm not in your pack.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do.
You can't tell me what to do. She can look an alpha in the eye and be like, boo-hoo you. And she's Mercy.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, that's Mercy. That she doesn't like being controlled, but then she finds out that there's this tie between them, and technically Stefan could make her do whatever he wants.
He could.
But he loves her, so he won't.
She hopes he won't. I mean, she's like, okay, I have to just trust that he won't. But she struggles with it. She struggles to this day with that connection.
Can I skip ahead to Silence Fallen? Because there's something.
Yeah, please.
So in Silence Fallen, Mercy has been kidnapped, and she realizes that one, she has her ties to Adam, but 2, she also has ties to Stefan still. This is when she figures out she's still connected, because Bonaratu tried biting her and bonding, taking that. And he said, because yours was given willingly and with love, if I destroyed this bond, I would kill the person on the other end. He thought it was Marsilia, not realizing that it was Stefan. But that's when Mercy realizes that it's still there, still in place. And so there's this whole scene where she goes into her head and like sees it for the first time. And at first it's like this very delicate chain connecting her to Stefan. And then she messes with it and like becomes this big manacle, and she bloodies her hands trying to destroy it. And he, appears in her mind and he's like, please stop. You're breaking my heart. I would never do this to you. And you're just like, oh, Stefan, you're so in love and it's not fair.
Oh my God. So you know what? I really love how Briggs came up with the idea for her to like go to this other, like this mental plane to kind of wherever she needs to see these bonds like in a physical way.
Yeah.
And no one else does it but her. Like the other wolves don't do that. And I think it's another side effect of her coyote magic.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
she's
yeah.
able to, do this. And it's like, eventually she starts describing the bonds and like how her bond with Stefan looks different from the one with
Mm-hmm.
the pack and the one with Adam. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
very descriptive. I love how she does that. And this is
Mm-hmm.
just the beginning of it when they create that bond. It does come back again and again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's again, Patricia Briggs lays the groundwork early on. So even, Gary in book 1, they're talking about that in Burn Bright, which is book 5 of the Alpha and Omega series, which is 3 years later, 4 years later, however long later it is. Like, it's still important. It's everything is connected. We haven't talked about Frostburned yet, but what happens there is connected to Stormcurse. Like, it's all connected, and I love that so much.
I mean, that is plotting like no one else. Like she goes back and pulls things from many books before.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense.
It
and you're
makes
like, oh
sense.
yeah.
And the details are there. And if you reread it like we're doing, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is when she said this, and now it's important here.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. She's really good at that. Okay. Actually, I think this is a great time to take a quick break. So we finished 4 books. We have a lot more to go.
So many more books.
Check out these commercials. By doing that, you're supporting the podcast, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Book 5 is Silverborn. And I love this cover art. It's so pretty.
It so much.
So much of the cover art is gorgeous, y'all.
All of the cover art. It's, yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
So this one's about the Fae again.
Yeah, this one I wrote a little note: vampires, ghosts, and werewolves and Fae. Like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, all the things are in here. And I think there's a lot of plot movement too. The supernatural creatures all over the place. So let's dig into it. Casey, what do you remember from this book?
Not much. I think... Is this the one where she gets the walking stick, or did she get the walking stick before and the walking stick helped her in Bone Crossed?
Let's see.
I think she got the walking stick in Iron Kissed, and it helped her in Bone Cross.
All right. I thought I linked to my long review, but I guess I did not. Let's take a look. Okay, so I wrote down here, I guess Marsilia is like the bad guy in this book.
She usually is.
She usually is.
So the blurb talks about Mercy is smart enough to realize that when it comes to the magical fae, the less you know, the better. But you can't always get what you want. Oh, when she attempts to return a powerful fae book she'd previously borrowed in an act of desperation, she finds the bookstore locked up and closed down. It seems the book contains secret knowledge, and the fae will do just about anything to keep it out of the wrong hands. And if that doesn't take enough of Mercy's attention, her friend Samuel is struggling with his wolf side, leaving Mercy to cover for him, lest his own father declare Sam's life forfeit. All in all, Mercy has had better days, and if she isn't careful, she might not make many more to live. So at this point, she and Adam have officially bonded. They are mated. They are happy. So Samuel's depressed and realizing that he can't have kids and won't have kids. And oh shit, it's this book. This is where he meets his new mate, right?
Who? Sam?
Yeah, this is where Sam meets his mate.
Ariana is in this book?
I think this is when he meets Ariana.
Let's see.
It's been so long since I've read this one.
It might be, because I feel like at this point, Sam leaves. He has to leave.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think this is when Mercy gets taken down into Underhill.
She definitely
has the walking stick before now.
Yeah. I wish I had noted when she first comes into contact with the walking stick, because I did not note it. I'm trying to think. I really like this book, but I'm like, I am blanking on a lot of this book.
I am blanking on it too.
Okay, let's see. Let me just scroll through my little stuff here. Yeah, so Bone Cross starts virtually at the moment that Iron Kist ends, Mercy finally deciding to become Adam's mate. They are interrupted by Mercy's mother, and then Stefan drops in. Let's see. Oh, I bet that scene was really good. I need to reread it.
With Mercy's mother? She's the best.
No, with Did they didn't have a wedding in this book, did they?
No, the wedding is the next book. That's
okay.
Rivermarked.
No, maybe this book was not as there wasn't a lot of forward movement here. Maybe there must have not been, because we're both like, stuff happened.
I think this is the one. Shit's going down with the Fae. They find Ariana. Samuel's been trying to kill himself. Or, yeah, the human side of Sam is trying to kill himself, but the wolf is like, no, I'm taking over. We don't want to die.
He was in wolf for most of this book. Yes. He was in wolf form for most of this book. Like, being all sad and shit. Oh, yeah, like he kept not saving lives, and then there was this big accident or something. Was that this book?
I think
he was just like...
Yeah, and he couldn't deal with it. So, yeah. No, Silverborn... Yeah. And I think this is where they meet Ariana, and he had met her centuries ago, and she's terrified of werewolves, but not Samuel's wolf, because she knows he will protect her. And it's really sweet.
Are we ever going to get a spinoff of that? I would love to read about them together in Africa doing that, whatever they're doing.
I think there's a short story of the first time they met. I think. Somewhere. I don't know. I need to know this better.
Yeah, I don't know why Silverborn isn't really like doing it for me. What's happening?
So then everybody lives. Samuel's happy. He's alive. He leaves.
Yes.
But it's okay. I don't remember enough to talk about the bad guys there. It was the Fae.
Okay, so let's move on to Rivermarked. Book 6.
Yes, book 6.
The wedding. We told you guys already.
They
have a little cute wedding, which I remember there was some shenanigans with this wedding.
Oh, there's a lot of shenanigans with it. That people are making bets behind Mercy's back. Bran and Z are fighting over who gets to walk her down the aisle because they both feel like her fathers. It's fun.
The whole thing.
It's cute.
Yeah, it is cute. And then they go off into to the river.
For a vacation.
Yeah, and they have a little Class A motorhome, little fancy motorhome. And they're just, doing all the fun things, having sex and running as coyote and wolf and doing all the things. And then something bad happens, of course.
So it's the Otterkin. The otters come out. There's a river monster, obviously. But the otters are coming out and biting people and dragging them into the water and feeding their monster. And Mercy starts having dreams about it because her quote-unquote real father, except not, she can't figure out. Yeah, she can't figure out how she wants to feel about Coyote being her real father or not, because she discovers that he decided to be old Joe who met her mom and got her mom pregnant, and then he died in a car crash. It's some kind of
magical woo-woo stuff. He's her father, but not literally the guy. But yes, he was the guy.
Yes, he was.
It was some...
Yeah, Mercy can't wrap her head around it. We can't really wrap our heads around it. It's just okay, yeah. He's connected to Mercy.
Yes.
So she meets him in person for the first time, learns all about his brothers and Hawk and the other... Oh, what's the word?
I'm not sure what you're trying to say. What are you saying?
What are they? Coyote. He's not a god.
Are they skinwalkers?
No.
Is that it?
They're
no?
the powerful... There's a word for them.
Hold on. Because we meet so we meet several of them in this book. There's a hawk or something, and then there's and actually we learn a lot about the history and a little bit about her, her family and all this
And her powers.
Her tribe, like the tribe and stuff and all this stuff. I'm like, okay. But did I retain most of it? No, I'm trying to see if I can find.
Yeah, there's a special name that they're all called, and I can't remember what it is. Because they're not gods, but they're like some kind of immortal great power.
The Great Spirit? There was like one that was in the... Let's see. No, that's like one of them. Are you sure they're not called skinwalkers? Are you sure?
Yeah, because that's something else.
Okay.
That's something evil that comes up in Burn Bright.
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, that's okay. They're just very important deities, I'll say. And so Mercy also meets a lot of people who are also just like her. They're walkers. They're connected to the powerful beings. She meets Hank, who's connected to the Hawk. And she befriends them, which is great. And she's happy. And then she works with them to try and figure out how to defeat this river monster. But they can't do it themselves, so they have to ask all of the deities, including Coyote, to help. And it's a really big fight where most of them die and get eaten by the river monster, but then Coyote's able to go in and like rip his heart out, but they'll come back later because they're immortal.
Yeah,
they're immortal. It's fine.
Right.
So that happens.
And I just remember again, Mercy almost bites it. Like the thing drags her underwater and then yanking her all back around. And then she almost doesn't escape. And then the walking stick just shows up in her hand right when she needs it.
That beautiful walking stick helps her.
Yes.
She ends up in the hospital with so many broken bones.
And unfortunately, Adam's like on the shore pacing back and forth. He can't do anything because he can't swim. He'll die if he goes in there.
Werewolves drown very easily, so he can't save her. But then they also have to fight the otter people who are a type of fae. And then it turns out that I think Uncle Mike had given them the RV and said, why don't you go hang out by this river for your honeymoon?
Oh, and he sent them there. Yes, that asshole.
He sent them there. Adam's like, fuck you very much.
Like, you could have just asked for our help, asshole.
Yeah, you didn't have to like ruin our honeymoon. We could have done this and then gone somewhere else. But all in all, it was kind of a slow book, but it was very cute. They got a lot of romance in there.
Yeah, there was a good amount of romance in here before things started to go left. I mean, that whole honeymoon beginning was super cute.
It's all cute. Yeah. If you need to pick me up, just go read the wedding chapters. Like, yeah.
Because, I mean, it really gets into the weeds with Coyote and the, what is it? Is it a hawk? I think it's a hawk. And then what was the other one?
There's several.
Yeah.
There's several. And I'm forgetting all of them.
Because so for example, I feel like while this stuff was interesting to read, in the grand scheme of things, we haven't really needed to pull on this information again.
Can I tell you?
Sure.
Can I tell you? So I just finished Storm Cursed this weekend, and the Senator Campbell, who won, Adam almost assassinates as one of the plots and then saves him, and now he's in talks with the Fae in this book, but he is a Republican and he is very much anti-anything. He's anti-werewolf, he's anti-Fae, he's part of the Bright Future Society. Like, he is so bigoted. But Mercy looks into his eyes because they get a meeting together and she's like, you have hawk's eyes. You are a walker like me. But she doesn't say that out loud to him. She's just like, are you part Native American? He's like, no, I'm white through and through. Because he is the whitest white bread.
Does he know it and he's denying it, or he just doesn't know it?
I don't think he knows it because he's so anti everything. But at the same time, like, it could be Hawk just pretending to be something to stir up shit. instead of just
You
being a
know,
skinwalker like Mercy. So
you mentioning that just jogged my memory about all the things that we were talking about a couple books ago that made us think that he's a Republican.
it's this book. I almost texted you. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, Adam's a fucking Republican.
Like,
We went
Adam.
on a rant about this. He's a fucking Republican, and Mercy keeps joking that, like, oh, he votes Republican and it cancels out my vote. So we're just,
Like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's the one thing I hate about Adam. And this came out in like 2016, 2017. Actually, let me look because I'm holding the book. Where's your...
So Storm Cursed is book 11, 2019. Yeah.
So yeah, it came out 2019. We were in the midst of a really bad president in 2019. And when we read that, we were like, Adam, I hate you.
I just want to you lost all the cool points with me, sir.
Yeah, that was this book. That's when we were both like, Adam, the fuck? What the fuck? I do not like this. I do not like this at all.
I don't know. And I started wondering, you guys got to go back and listen to that episode, I think. I was wondering if that had something to do with the author's feelings too, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a character. Maybe it's just for character's sake.
I know somebody who knows her, and I asked, and she told me that Patricia Briggs is very liberal Democrat, and she just made this up as a joke.
Oh, a bad joke. Don't do it.
That landed really poorly due to our current political climate. If 2016 had never happened, I think I might be able to laugh about this a little more. But
I'm like, hell, this ain't funny.
But no. But no.
Okay.
So
okay. Good.
So yes, like I said earlier, something that happens will come up again 5 books later. So I feel like we need to look 5 books ago and see what was happening to really understand what's going to happen in the newest book.
Winter Lost is book 14, right? Is it 14?
So which one was book 9?
What was book 9?
Yeah, what was book 9? Hold on.
Fire Touched.
Ooh.
Fire Touched was...
That's when they get Aiden.
Yeah. So that was the Fae.
That's all the Fae stuff.
And Underhill.
Mm-hmm. And there's that weird god who's there for Christy. No. That's book 8.
Oh, wait. Is that when What's-His-Face turns into the Tibicina? That one guy... Is that happen in this book too?
I think that's Fire Touched.
Hoel turns into the Tibicina.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he
turns into the... Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back. What book are we on?
Let's go back. So we just finished talking about River
Marked.
River Marked as much as we could, I guess.
The honeymoon. It's happy. It's cute. They live. Mercy ends up in the hospital, but she lives.
So after River Marked, book 7 is Frostburned.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see. Frostburned.
This is a vampire that is part witchy because he can control the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to take over. And it also ties into Storm Cursed. It's a whole big everything that happened in Frostburned they talk about here because
who is the vampire?
Frost.
Oh my god. Okay. Yep. What was going on with Adam in this book? There was something funny.
Well, it starts with Mercy and Jesse are in the car together, and Jesse goes, "So when are you going to get pregnant?" And Mercy crashes the car instead of answering.
God. Like
shit.
Fucking never.
They're out Black Friday shopping, and new stepdaughter just drops that bomb on you, and Mercy's like,
how dare you?
Seriously.
I should have went this far back with my reread. I should have went this far back.
No. Reading Storm Curse, I was like, I want to reread Frostburned because everything that happens in there gets pulled into this. And I don't know, do you want me to just...
So, yeah, who was the main villain? Who was the main...
So Frost
so
is a vampire.
Frost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's like part necromancer, right? He can control the dead. And so he comes into town and he's trying to take over and defeat Marsilia. Marsilia convinces or tricks Mercy into fighting for her. Wolf is on either side. Nobody knows who he's really fighting for, Frost or Marsilia. But Frost's plan is to, one, destroy Marsilia, destroy Stefan, whatever, and take over the Seath and become the new powerhouse. Well, we find out later in Stormcursed that he was turned by witches. Or he was turned by a vampire who's being controlled by witches. The Hardesty witches. They are a family of very powerful witches based in Tennessee. And they have businesses all over. And they have a very deep plot to do something. We're not quite sure what yet, but we discover that they were in charge of Frost. So they sent Frost there specifically to destroy Marsilia, but because he failed, they decide to send themselves in Stormcursed. So,
and I remember I remember that same clan of witches showing up in Alpha and Omega.
They show up in Burn Bright, and spoiler, there's a witch who's been in Bran's clan for the last 20 years. Not clan.
Sleeper Cell.
Yeah, Sleeper Cell. She's been in there for 20 years and gets outed. And also,
and none of them had a clue. None of them felt anything weird off of that woman.
Nope, for 20 years. She was right in front of their faces. And there's a werewolf,
they all feel stupid,
in the pack, a wildling who had been cursed by them back in 1913, I believe it was, like 100 years ago, or 90 years ago, according to the timeline. And
back when he was a slave.
Well, no, he was free at that point. But
he was a slave to the collar. He had a collar on after that. They cursed the collars. He had one on.
No. That happened before.
Before he was cursed?
Yeah, I thought that happened down on the islands. He got free of that, went to America, wandered around on the railroads because his wife died. And then he got caught by them in Tennessee. And then Charles saved him and then took him. And he's been hiding out in the mountains with Bran for the last 90 years.
Yeah, but then I don't understand why they didn't get what they wanted from him then. Because supposedly in this book, they wanted him because he might know how to make the collars. That's why they came for him in this book. Right, but if they had him and cursed him, that doesn't quite jive. What am I missing? If they had him before and they cursed him, why didn't they just get what they wanted then?
Because Charles saved him. Charles got him out of that
But they had him when they cursed him.
I know. And
before he went to jail. I don't know.
I don't know.
So in that book, he was accused of killing some people and they put him in jail.
Well, they definitely killed the people because they are evil black witches who get power through blood and pain. So,
I don't know. Something there just doesn't really. The circle is broken. I don't know how to close that loop exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they get it from him before? I don't get that. But that's that's Alpha and Omega book. But it is these same freaking witches.
Because in Burn Bright, they're talking about Gary from Mooncalled, and then they have the Hardesty witches, which is also in Stormcursed. And these Hardesty witches have gotten some pretty heavy blows between these books, but I think they are still very, very powerful. And will definitely come back and try and take over again.
Yeah, because it showed up, they had a weapon in Burn Bright. And they're like, how did they make this weapon? And then Anna, I think, recalls, oh, well, didn't they have something that Mercy and Adam dealt with that someone had such and such? And so that's how.
Yep. So, Frost, the evil vampire in Frostburned, is part of Stormcursed, or at least connected to Stormcursed. So, moving on to Night Broken, or do you have
Yeah,
anything
let's
else?
move on. No, I got nothing, girl.
Okay.
I got nothing. Let's move on to Night Broken.
The worst
Book
villain ever shows up. Adam's ex-wife, Christy.
Oh, this hoe.
This
She is the
hoe.
worst. She is the worst.
Yes. The worst. The worst of the worst. Mercy does get back at her with blue hair dye, and it's beautiful. But
yeah. She is like the kind of person where she manipulates everyone around her.
Mhm.
And Mercy is just trying to deal, right?
Yep.
She's trying not to murder the woman.
Yep. Because she
She
wants to be nice.
Yes.
But
she comes there because she's fearful of some boyfriend, right? Wasn't
Mhm.
that the reason why she came there?
yes, but it was a supernatural boyfriend who
be
is
fair.
trying to sacrifice her or just kill her or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Adam is reverting to his old ways where he's
Oh my God.
very hates himself because Christy
He
makes him
can't.
hate himself because she's like, "Oh, you're scaring me.
This is
You're
your
so
fault.
big
If
and
you weren't
scary."
the alpha, I wouldn't be in this situation.
Mhm.
Shut up.
Yeah, seriously, she's awful. She's the worst. Oh, I hate her so much. But yeah, so Christy shows up, and then Mercy has to save her because that's
Yeah.
what Mercy does.
She has to, because it's Jesse's mom. She cares about Jesse. She cares,
Mhm.
obviously she loves Adam. She doesn't want. So yeah, she does save her. And I feel like, of course, like you said, the hair dye. So she got her little paybacks before
Mhm.
she ran out of there crying like a
Yeah.
little baby. Like, get the fuck
But
out.
like the whole pack kind of falls under her spell, and every single
It
dominant
never ends.
wants to be there for her and like glare at Mercy because Mercy's doing everything wrong because Christy says Mercy is wrong.
See, and this is the thing though. It's like you want to say, I don't know if Christy can even exactly be called a villain per se.
Antagonist.
She's definitely just, an antagonist.
She's an
just a
antagonist.
little, she comes in, she stirs the pot,
Mhm.
and then she leaves.
Yeah.
And
But
she comes in and
it's
stirs it up
fun.
and leaves again.
It's fun to call her a villain, but no, she's just an antagonist because she just wants to make Mercy's life miserable.
Yeah. And she does a good job of it. Like, oh my God, just you going in their bathroom and using their shower and shit. Bitch, get the fuck out. Get out. Like, she doing all the things that you just don't do.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what? She just wanted XYZ. What?
She just wanted to shower. She just wanted to use the pretty dishes. She just wanted to do this for dinner. She just wanted this. She's Christy. She's so weak and meek and helpless, and she's gonna cry, and now we have to help her.
Oh my God. I think at one point Mercy must have wanted her gone and was like, how could you dare put her out? She's scared.
Mhm.
She's in danger.
How can you kick her out of your house? And Mercy's like, get the fuck out.
Get out before I kick you out.
Mhm.
I love this book. It was so fun.
Was so fun. She's so annoying, but you were rooting for Mercy, and you're like, Mercy is going to get her back. And she does.
She does. She absolutely does. And she slinks off with her tail behind her leg, between her legs before she, as she leaves. Because this is like where the whole Goyota came. I think it was called Goyota, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, how'd she find like the boyfriend that is like this crazy?
The boyfriend from hell.
Yeah. I don't know. He's like what is the Goyota? It was like a beast or
it was like a volcano god.
Volcano god, yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, so he burns down Mercy's shop at one point because why not? We need a volcano god to do that. Or was that
comes up with a volcano god? Briggs does. That's who. Like what? Yeah, it was and I think also there was a lot of, I'm flipping through the pages. I remember the cantrip agents were in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Like the agents were around. There's a lot going on. Oh, Wolf is around in here?
Ooh, shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Chapter 11. He's come right in here.
When was Adam and the pack taken? Because they were kidnapped by the agents who wanted Adam to murder or assassinate Senator Campbell. I thought it was
Let's
later,
see.
but it might be Frostburned.
Okay, I can't find what I want by Googling. Dang it.
Curse you, Google, for failing us.
I know. How dare you? Yeah, it might be. It might be Frostburned. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Mercy and Jesse can't reach Adam or anyone else in the pack. They've all been abducted. Mercy fears Adam's disappearance may be related to the political battle the werewolves have been fighting to gain acceptance from the public, and that he and the pack are in serious danger. Outmatched and on her own, Mercy may be forced to seek assistance from an ally she can get, no matter how unlikely. Okay, yeah, so Frostburned, Adam and the pack are kidnapped by government agents who want him to assassinate.
He killed a bunch of them,
but
too.
He kills everybody. He kills everybody who was there. He destroys all of them. And that's in the midst of the scary-ass vampire coming in to take over. So there's a lot going on in Frostburn.
Because they were, like, drugged and stuff. There was something going on where she couldn't, like, use the bonds. She couldn't, like, it didn't work tradition. Like, stuff was fucked up.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And I think that ties back to Gary and the drugs he was creating and using.
Because he was pulling on the pack bonds to kind of wake himself up.
Yeah.
He just went through there and just chewed everybody up and spit them out.
Yup.
Oh, my God. He ate 20 people. I don't know how many it was, but it was a bloodbath.
It was fun. It was Adam. Adam saved himself a bit in this one for the first time. Really appreciate that.
Definitely. You know, he does save her too in a couple of books. So
when she's
even though
fighting,
she kind of saves herself too a little bit, but
when she's fighting Frost, Adam jumps in and kills Frost, and it's okay. So yeah,
they
didn't mean
save
to
each other.
Backtrack, but I just
no, it's fine.
Like, when was that? So that again comes up in Storm Cursed because Senator Campbell's there, and he's like, "Thank you for saving my life. You told me about the assassination attempt, and we caught the guys." So,
okay.
Senator Campbell's going to be real important.
Yeah, that comes up.
He keeps coming up. So,
yeah. Okay. So, are we done with Nightbroken, or was there more for Nightbroken?
I think that's all we need to talk about Nightbroken.
Okay, let's take another quick break before we jump into book 9. There's a couple more commercials. They'll be fast. Come right back. We'll jump into Fire Touch book 9. We'll be right back. So book 9 is Fire Touched, and this is where we meet Aiden. Yay! Yay!
So this book starts out fun, though.
How does it start?
There's the rampaging troll destroying the bridge.
On the bridge, yeah.
So Mercy and the werewolves come save the day, and then she declares that the Tri-City area is their safe zone that they are protecting. That they are the guardians of the area. People can not claim sanctuary, but like come be safe, and it's good for all.
Kind of sanctuary, because all the wolves get pissed off, like, God damn it, Mercy! Why did you do that? And she knows exactly what to say. She kind of just opens her mouth and the words just
come out. Yes.
You're like, damn it!
Damn it, Mercy! Why you gotta say this?
Yes, and also I think this was the book, because of what she did, Bran separates them.
Yes.
From the whole US pack.
Yes, Bran
politically.
says, we are no longer connected. They are not affiliated with me. If you fight them, you are not fighting me. We are not together.
We won't help you. We won't come and fight for them. Supposedly.
Wait, one book. But anyway. Okay, so Fire Touch. Mercy does that, declares everybody is safe. What happens next? She has friends who are dog breeders, but they're like the good kind of dog breeders that love their dogs.
Yeah. Is Howell, and I can't remember the wife's name.
I just read it and I forgot it. I think it's Lucia.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
I think that's her name.
No, wait, Lucia, she's the one. No, I thought Lucia was the one with the kids that would come and clean her.
Oh, shit, I forgot about them. No,
yeah, remember, like they had a wolf. I think it was
Samuel.
Samuel was
the
there.
Little sisters were playing with Samuel.
Wasn't that Lucia? Wasn't that her? She was all pissed off. How dare you not tell me? You have both my kids running around there. The poor kids were like pulling on him. You know how kids are.
Yeah. They were safer with Samuel than any dog if they're pulling on the fur and pulling on the hair. Oh, that was Mercy's second assistant after Tad went to college. What was his Gabriel?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
He
maybe
kind
it was
of
Gabriel.
dated Jessie for a couple books, and then they went long distance, and then it didn't work out, and poor Jessie had her first heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen him in a while. I wonder if he's going to pop up soon.
No, I don't know. He went. Yeah, he's gone. He gone. He left her a note.
Bitch. Who leaves a note?
He left her a note on the counter, and Mercy's like, "Oh, I'm not opening this one.
Not touching that."
I'm trying to find the name, Howell's wife's name, but they all like live with the pack now.
Because the monster comes in and kills all of their dogs except one.
Mm-hmm.
One dog escaped. And then Howell got cursed. Or
I think it's cursed. I mean, he turns into this fire monster dog thing.
Yep.
And the only thing that can calm his ass down has been Aiden, because he's fire as well, as that's his ability. So
yep. So Aiden was originally human, but he went into the Underhill realm, the Fae realm, Underhill, with a bunch of other children, probably like a millennia ago. Like it was a very, very long time. And then since Underhill, who kind of shows herself as a young kid, kicked out all of the Fae, she went and hung out with the kids and slowly killed them off, except for Aiden. Aiden is the only one left. So he looks like he's, like 8 or 9, maybe 10. But he's like 1,000 years old. And so Mercy and Adam are like, you look young. We have to adopt you and take care of you.
I know they treat him like he's one of their, a kid that they're in charge of, and he presents as a kid. So they treat him that way. And Jessie treats him like a little brother. And they got his ass in school.
Yes, that's in one of the later books. But yes, they put him in school, and it's so fun.
I mean, he's still learning like how to be a human. So
it's real fun.
He was gone so long. He's like,
how? I just know how to be a fae. I just know how to do things in bargains. I just know like give and take. And Mercy's like, I have to teach him empathy. I have to teach him how to care about people. I have to teach him about giving for giving's sake. And so
it's like he's a toddler in that respect. You gotta start over like he's a little kid. Like he doesn't know these cues and things you should know. Because Underhill's he was fighting for his life in there all the time.
Oh yeah, no, it's
constantly
very
on defense. Yeah. Like everybody plays tricks in there and they'll come and kill you. Like was this in this book was this the book where Mercy went into Underhill?
That was Silverborn.
Silverborn, okay.
That was Silverborn.
So I'm like, that was crazy.
I know Mercy went in at least once. And then I feel like in Silverborn she was in there for like 2 weeks. And Adam was searching for her constantly, and the mate bond wasn't working.
They went there for something really specific, and Aiden was going to take her. They were going to go together to get whatever it was.
Did she know Aiden back then?
he was the guide. He guided her. Because remember, there were like little things happening and he would tell her to run or hurry up in the treehouse and, all this stuff.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
God damn. There's so many books.
There's so many
details.
things. It's like, yeah.
I should have reread the entire series.
We should have. I mean, for the 10th time.
For the 10th time, I should have just sat down, cleared my schedule each day, read a new book. Maybe next time. But
yeah,
anyway.
Maybe next time. So yeah, Fire Touch. So at the end of this, the family has grown by 2 or 3.
By 3.
Yeah.
Bran has officially kicked out Mercy, and she feels very triggered by this and feels abandoned, and it's really sad. But she wouldn't undo anything because
she understands. I think that's what it is. She's sad by it, but she understands why that had to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she crawls into Adam's lap and she's like, hold me, my dad left me again.
My dad kicked me out the family. Oh, like, damn. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So to top that off, now they have like Underhill is around like forever. Her ass isn't going anywhere.
Nope. She wants to be friends. She wants to hang out in their backyard. I think they make a deal with her that like she can come in for a year or something. Is that this book or do they do that later?
Well, I'm not sure about the timing, but I know later she puts a door in their backyard. Ooh. Not this one, but it's later.
Okay.
She puts a door back there and they're like, what the fuck is going on back here? Like, what'd she do? Like, Ada's like, yeah, she did that. So
fun times, guys. Right. Fun times.
Oh yeah, Baba Yaga was in this book.
Oh yeah.
I don't really remember what she was doing exactly.
We figured out Baba Yaga is a fae, not a witch, but a fae. So that's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Beauclair was in this book.
Ooh, Beauclair is a really important fae who is a Grey Lord.
Yeah.
And in one of the Alpha and Omega series, his daughter is murdered. And he asks Anna and Charles to solve that. They do. And they convince him to use the human justice system. Which
was a mistake.
Yeah, they go to a human court. There is a judge. There is a jury. The murderers are found innocent and not guilty of murder, even though there was endless proof that they did it. And so that's when Beauclair, comes out and like says there's going to be a reckoning between humans and fae. And so that bleeds into Mercy's world because Beauclair comes in and says, hey, we need to make this deal between us, between you and Adam and the werewolves and us, and like make this a safe space and then like maybe slowly talk to the humans again because I fucked up. I fucked up real bad. Underhill won't let us back in. We can't say deuces to the earth anymore. We are trapped.
Yeah, and I think, they're kind of scared of him a little bit. Like, they don't really know. He can't be trusted, really.
He's a fae. He can't be trusted, but he can be more trusted than some of the other fae creatures. So, like, again, in Stormcursed, they're building that conversation between the government and the fae, and Beauclair is there and he's telling Adam it's a good thing that Adam is charging the government for this because he got a good deal out of it. And this is like the twisted fae logic. And Adam's like, what the fuck? I don't even know.
Yeah. So like at this point, like a lot of things are convening and crossing over. Not only both, series are really entangled at this point, like really entangled, but like all of the wolves, the fae, the vamps, the witches, they're all kind of entangled in this big, fantastical creature ball of yarn.
Yep.
Everything's touching everything.
Everything is touching everything. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That was crazy.
So book 10 is Silence Fallen. Or are we done with?
Yeah, we're done. Let's continue. So book 10, Silence Fallen.
I just read this. So
I really like this one because it's so different.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this one because I just read it. I know all the details. So Mercy's going out to buy eggs when her car gets hit and she gets abducted by Bonaratu, the super, super duper scary vampire who owns all of Europe and probably most of North America, though secretly.
And of course, he can't just keep her there. He takes her ass all the way across the world.
Yeah, he takes her back to Europe, where he has his healer save her. And then he calls Adam and says, "Oh no, I saw your mate was in a car accident. So I took her home to my home to keep her safe because I didn't know who hit her." But Adam's like, "Bitch, I was there at the car accident scene. I know it was you and your vampires."
Yeah, I know it was you. Stop lying.
So half the book is told from Mercy's point of view and half is told from Adam's point of view, which is excellent.
That was the best surprise ever. The first time. This is the first time we get to like really get like Adam's experience, his feelings, his like, it's jarring in the best way. It's like, wow.
Him being alpha and, controlling everything. And he gathers the allies. He puts them on a plane. He takes them to Europe. He has a team. He has Marsilia. He has Stefan. He has the witch, Elizaveta. He takes Honey. And she's really surprised because she's like, wow, it's not just Mercy respecting women anymore. It's actually you. And he's like, yeah, you're kick-ass. You'll kill him if he gets too close to you.
I mean, Honey technically is like really high up the chain on the pack. When they stop discounting women, she actually falls pretty high.
I think like at 4 or 5.
Yeah, she's like, she's up there.
Honey is a badass, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
And they have, I was going to say Larry the Goblin King.
Yeah, the Goblin
Another
King.
goblin pilot. And then his name is Matt Smith.
The most crazy, boring ass name.
They make Doctor Who references because the 11th Doctor was played by an actor named Matt Smith. So they make all of the Doctor Who jokes. And yes, he is very meek, very submissive. He feels very
into the background,
scared a lot of the times.
Yeah, he no one really notices him that much though. And
so
we know who can kind of do that. So it's like the biggest awesome surprise ever.
It is.
Even throughout though, Mercy is like she's using her wits.
Mercy's such a badass that as soon as she realizes she's been abducted and she's in, a place, she doesn't know where she's at immediately. She's just like, I know I've been abducted. I can't be more than like a few hours away from home. So I am going to break out and get home. And she breaks out and she ends up like 500 miles away. And then she realizes that she had been in Italy.
Like, this is a different country. I swear, like, didn't she, like, find someone's Kindle and start fucking emailing from a Kindle?
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God.
At one point,
she left a note.
Yes. No, she hops on a bus in her coyote form. She gets in the luggage area and she starts digging through everybody's luggage. She's like, I want your clothes because you'll fit me. And I need your Kindle because I can like email people on the Kindle. And then she goes to a cafe and like hooks up to the Wi-Fi and starts emailing everybody. And she's like, oh, I can use the email address like Lost Coyote Girl 1 or something. And it's
hilarious. But she's so smart with it.
She is on point. The way we say, in Iron Kissed, she was kind of lackluster and didn't really know what she was doing. By Silence Fallen, this bitch knows. She's like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I know how to escape this. I know how to do this. She emails everybody, and the one person who responds is Ben. And his email is half explicitives of like,
oh my
holy
gosh,
shit,
yeah.
where are you? How did you email me? Like, what's going on? Where Adam's on a plane to come get you.
Yeah, they're coming. And then she just has to figure out how to stay alive until then.
Yep.
And it's like things happen and she just meets other people and gets tied in.
There's a werewolf pack. There's vampires attacking. There's a... no, I guess I could spoil all of this because we gave spoiler alert.
We did. We gave a huge spoiler. We did.
So the werewolf pack here, the alpha hates Bran. He and Bran have been fighting for years. Nobody knows why. Turns out that the ghost of his wife tells Mercy that their son was gone. Their son went to America. And it turns out Bran kidnapped their son. And their son is Zach. Zach is the new lone submissive in Mercy's pack. But she takes one look at the ghost of his mother and goes, that's Zach. Zach is not his real name. But like, she's like, oh, I have your son in my pack. And you hate Bran because Bran kidnapped your submissive son and took him to his pack and then sent him to my pack. And you will never forgive Bran for taking your son away, even though he would not have survived in this pack. So that's what their big fight is all about. Yeah. And of course, there's some shit going down with the vampires. There's technically 2 vampire seas, and they are warring with each other. Nobody can figure out what's going on. There's one vampire who has learned how to quickly turn vampires. The process usually takes at least a year, if not 2 years. She's figured out how to turn vampires in 2 weeks.
Oof.
But there is a ticking time bomb in these vampires.
Yeah.
After they turn, they'll be good for a couple months, maybe like 4 or 5 months. And then they turn into mindless, hungry, basically zombie, like vampire things that just want to eat and rip your throats out. And then you have to put them down because they're too scary and nobody wants the humans to know that they exist yet. I
mean, these are the real vampires everyone considers as vampires. Like, you know, they're mindless and just going to eat everybody and everything.
They're scary as fuck. So Mercy ends up getting kidnapped by these vampires and realizes that the original Seath has been taken over and they are being mind controlled through witch power because this is a witch vampire.
Oh, God. Yes.
It all ties in together.
Yeah, it does.
So
it does.
She is controlling the other vampires, all of their people. They're down to like 5 people, I think. Like there's barely any of them left. The lead guy, not alpha, but the alpha of the vampires, whatever he's called, is like, he's kind of nice and he's trying to protect who he can, but you know, there's only so much you can do. Mercy's trapped in a silver cage and can't get out. But she's talking to the ghosts, and then she meets the golem. The golem was created by a Jewish priest, but not priest. I don't remember the word.
I'm not sure.
A Jewish holy man.
Yes.
In World War II to try and fight Nazis and protect the Jewish people, but it got out of hand and he tried killing it, but he only like really banished it. And Mercy with her magic brought him back to life-ish, and then he demanded that she feed all the ghosts to him so he could end
He gets bigger.
And she does. She says, if you want to, like, it's your choice. And so the ghosts do feed it. He comes in, he destroys most of the vampires, almost all of them. Mercy tries to get him to stop. He doesn't want to stop. She ends up using magic, finds out her father Coyote put her here specifically for this because he wanted it to be no more.
Of course you have to do it because your brother's lame. Yeah. He couldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
He tried in 1940 something and failed and left.
It's like, I know you're much better than him. So
you're
thanks.
better than Gary. So this is the only time where Mercy has actively like saved herself. All the bad guys are dead. The golem is gone. And she's still trapped in the cage. By the time Adam gets there several hours later, he's like, you saved yourself, but basically, I need to like still get you out of the cage.
Yeah, like she did save herself. She just couldn't get out of the cage.
Yes.
The hilarity.
And then she looks up and she says, why is Bran here?
He's like, he's not.
Okay. There was a moment from Adam's point of view where they met the other alpha and he says, and this is our pilot, Matt Smith. And the alpha just looks at him and is like, uh-huh. Sure.
Like, sure. Sure, that's Matt Smith.
If that's
okay.
what you're saying, then
I'll go with it.
I won't say anything in front of the vampires, but...
He knew that wasn't Matt Smith, but
he wasn't going to say...
Follow their lead. Okay, follow the lead.
So, yes, Mercy realizes in the next book that Bran would never abandon her. Bran loves her. Bran would burn the world down for her. Fuck every political everything.
Her. He came to rescue his daughter.
Yes, his daughter. His daughter.
That's all I got to say on that. Yeah, he came to rescue her. She
is his daughter. Yeah. It is a paternal feeling.
Yes.
That's all I will accept.
That's all I will accept as well. And actually, it was kind of funny that Gary was brought up here because we didn't even talk about like when she originally met Gary.
Oh yeah, that was
that Fire Touched or Night Broken? Night Broken, maybe.
I think Night Broken.
Yeah, so she met her brother for the first time.
Half brother, because
Coyote is their dad.
Yeah,
and it's like fucking Coyote ruins everybody. This guy's so traumatized. He is so fucked up because of Coyote. Like
he was in prison when they met, and she's like, and he's like, "This is the safest place for me. Coyote can't get me to do shit. He can't make me
do anything. Yeah,
I'm safe here." So he wants to be in prison, but then they ask him for help, and he breaks out and helps them.
Yeah,
and then he just kind of wanders around and shows up when he wants to show up.
Yeah, just like everything else. So like the walking stick shows up when it wants. Coyote shows up when he wants, and he's so rude. He just assuming she gonna do stuff. Like you know what, rude ass, rude.
So
yeah,
the healer in this book, the healer who healed Mercy and then healed Adam later, she is half fae. She looks like she's maybe 10. Looks like she might have Down syndrome. But Bonaratu found her after World War I or World War II, and he keeps her. And Larry the Goblin King looked at her and said, you better not let the Fae know she's here, because if they find out, they will come take her, and they won't treat her as nicely as you do. So, again... I believe that is going to play a big role in the future because there are more half-fae children that keep popping up. And yes, this healer, she's very sweet. She loved Adam. Adam kissed her cheek and she just like died of happiness. It was so cute. God. And she was like babbling, telling him that he needed to go find Mercy and give Mercy a big hug. And he was like, I really want to, but I need to like talk and then I will go find Mercy. And she's like, oh, good. And then he kissed her cheek and she's like, ah. It was so cute. It was so cute.
Yeah, that's going to come up again for sure. Absolutely. And you're right. There are a lot of little half-fae people running around here. Lots of them. And they all have all kind of interesting things they can do.
And usually the fae don't like half-breeds because they're purists and bigots and, whatever. But now that they're realizing that these half-fae have some good powers that they need and or want.
Yeah. Some of them have a lot more than they anticipated. Yeah. They're like, oh, shit. And that comes up later, which you will get into.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's carry on. Book 11. We are almost to the finish line, y'all. We are almost there.
Cursed.
Book 11, Storm Curse. Yes.
Just finished reading this one, too. So
okay.
There are a couple things in here right off the bat In the opening scene, Mercy is fighting a goblin, and she calls Larry the Goblin King for help, and he tells her that goblins can lie.
Yes.
Goblins can lie. So they have to put up a field of magical field around themselves, so like the fates that kill the Fae when they lie won't come in and kill them, but they can lie if they do this. So this goblin is saying, I'm innocent, I didn't kill the cop, I didn't kill the child, I didn't eat his eyes, I'm so innocent. And the werewolves are believing it, but Mercy's like, something's weird, and Larry's like, this is going to be really important. You need to know this. Goblins can lie. And don't tell anybody, especially not any Fae creatures, because the Fae want to know this. We have kept this secret forever, and if the other Fae ever found out, they would come for us, because normal Fae don't see goblins as, like, people.
They become a liability
like
when they find out, like, they can lie.
Oh, yes.
Like, wait a minute. They'd take them all out. They would try to kill them all.
Yes. So that was a very big, important moment that I was like, this is going to become even more important in future books. We need to highlight this. We need to memorize this. We need to remember and thank Larry the Goblin King.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. Because, and like, also, wasn't there like a bunch of stuff with the Grey Lords in this book as well?
Kind of. So the big plot are the witches, the Hardesty witches that we talked about with Frost. They sent him first. Now they're here. There's the one called Death, and then there's the one necromancer who can make zombies. So she's making zombie goats, zombie cows, zombie people.
God. They're going around killing all the zombies.
There's so
They're
many
trying to
zombies.
take them all out. Yeah.
So there's
like
zombies
running
everywhere.
Ragged. Yeah.
But in the meantime, Adam is working to create meetings between the Grey Lords and the human government, because they need to figure out a peace treaty of sorts. So that's this book. Like I said, the Hardesty witches, we learned about them in Burn Bright. They're here. They are very powerful. They are creating vampires like Frost. And Marsilia, when she figured that out through Mercy, Mercy's like, hey, do you know any witches who smell like Frost? Marsilia starts hopping to all the other seats nearby and finding sleeper cells, basically. So they kill a lot of vampires in this night. Off page, but like they're like, oh shit. The Hardesties have sent out over a dozen vampires that we are now eliminating. So and then
these witches have a long game.
Oh, they do.
A very long game.
One of the humans, he's like the junior something assistant to somebody, but like important because he's at the meetings. He smells like one of the witches. So Mercy figures out that he married her several months ago, and she is now like controlling him. He is her puppet.
Yes, I forgot about that.
So yeah, the witches can control people. They can make zombies. They can make vampires. They are scary. They have death power. They attacked Elizavetta's family. So Elizaveta stayed with Bonaratu because he hired her to do some work for him. So she stayed in Europe, and her entire family was butchered and killed. All 14 people.
Yeah.
It was
Can you imagine
awful.
Coming back to that? All your people are dead.
It was terrifying. But Adam and Mercy realized that she has been practicing black magic this whole time and keeping it
which
secret
is not
from
allowed
them.
in their territory.
No. Black magic is evil. You have to maim and torture animals. They had been killing animals for years.
Yeah.
And she says, this happened at the same time when you were abducted because you were gone and busy and I needed to protect my family. So that's when we went from gray to fully black. And that's Adam's like, I understand, because he does understand that she needs to protect her family, but he doesn't agree with it. So after they kill the Hardesty witches, Elizaveta does it with her magic. Now that she knows the death spell, she kills them with that death spell. takes their power, and then Adam says, nope, and breaks their neck.
Now he's like, you've got to
you
got to
are
go.
the new enemy. You've got to go. And so he's really saddened by this. Like, for him, this would be akin to Mercy having to kill Z.
Yeah, because I mean, he has known her for a really long time. You know, he
decades.
had like a relationship with, you know, not that kind of relationship. Although she would have liked one.
She wanted that with him, but he did not. Yeah. She reminded him of one of his aunts. They spoke Russian together because Adam's mother was Russian, so they would speak Russian, and they had a very familial bond.
Yes.
But yeah, when she killed the witches and she gained their power, she actually unaged and looked like she was in her early 30s.
Yeah.
And then she starts kissing him and she's like, I wanted to do this forever.
That scene was so gross.
So gross.
So gross.
So Adam just snaps her neck and she's dead. And then he apologizes.
And let's not forget, she leaves something with him before she dies, that bitch. She leaves him a little good parting gift.
Yep, that's going to come up. You've read that. I haven't read that yet. But, and then it ends with Coyote saying that he instigated all of this and asked Mercy to kill these witches to save a dragon. It's like, all about really, the dragon.
Yeah, so there's that.
There's a lot more detail in this story, but I feel like I've kind of covered it.
Yeah, those were the highlights, honestly. Those were the highlights. So that was book 11, right? So book 12, Smoke Bitten. This was interesting. Like so this one actually starts kind of strange because, you know, Mercy sees one of her neighbors. Like, what's going on? This woman is dead, you know, she can see ghosts. Don't forget, y'all, she can see ghosts. And the woman's just kind of saying something about her husband, like, and then she has to investigate, right? Like, what's going on? But Adam has had their bond shut down. That kind of, that happens first.
Oh, really quick note. They have sex a lot in this book. Like, they have sex a lot in this book.
She's talking about like, Storm Curse, y'all.
Yeah, in Storm Curse. Sorry, I picked up the book.
Look, I've been marked make out sesh.
Yes. And I noticed that because I was like, I know in the future books that becomes an issue. So I want to make note that, like, yes, their sex life is very active, very healthy. They have sex like 4 times a night. Dear God, like it was.
They're nudging all over the place.
Yeah, they're nudging each other all over the place. It was just constant. And I feel like she did that more in this book because Silence Fallen, like they didn't have any time together. But to really highlight the fact that, like, yeah, they have a lot of sex. So when Adam says no more sex, it's a big deal. Yes.
Yeah, because like all of a sudden Mercy realizes like, it's been a while. What's going on? And, you know, she knows something is wrong, but she's like, okay, he'll tell me when he's ready. But it just turns into this big fiasco. So it turns out she goes off to try to figure out what happened to the neighbor. She's investigating and she sees that the guy has been bitten by something. And she's like, what is this? You know? And so she starts sniffing around and she's like, okay, so it kind of takes off from there. And I think that was a pretty fun book overall. You know, they figured out about something that escaped from Underhill. That's basically what it was.
So with the door in their backyard, something escaped before they made the official, like,
and then it comes out that, you know, she made a deal with it, which is how she caught it in the first place. And they were trying to figure out, you know, all this. It was crazy. So like whoever gets bitten by the demon, they have like this smoke stuff and it can control you. So it's like it's taken over like a bunch of people, like all random accidents. The people, it's weird, but very interesting at the same time. But what else happens in this book? I don't know.
Well, Adam's going through his shit. I don't remember how much is revealed.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to overshoot. Is that this book where... Let me think. Is this the book where they have the showdown at Mercy's garage? And
I think so.
And he's like, why did you tell Bran about me? And he's in his other form. Was it this book?
I think it's that book and not, because he's better in Soul Taken. Not fixed, but better, right?
Yeah. So basically what ended up happening was, we'll just tell you what happened with Elizaveta.
Mm-hmm.
She basically spoke a curse into him right before he killed her. That basically, you are who you think you are, essentially. And Adam always thinks he's a monster. He thinks he's a monster. And he thinks everything he ever did was horrible. He just really is hard on himself.
Because Christy did a lot of this to him. Like, it wasn't just Adam being Adam. Like, no, his ex-wife really fucked him over.
She did. So essentially, this whole book, his wolf is like trying to keep this monster in check. So like a couple of times, they had sex a few times, like twice in this book, like because she kind of like forced it and then he gave in and like opened the bond up. And a couple of times that happened. But like one time she'll wake up and the wolf is there, not Adam. Because the wolf is like trying to tamp it down.
Yeah.
And so eventually it comes out and he's like this scary looking, grotesque monster. And it's like, the fuck is going on? And Mercy is kind of scared, but not she's
really.
Like, this is
like,
this is still Adam.
Weird,
like, she's like, this is
Adam.
different. This is kind of not good. But she actually cussed him out in this form, So he gets mad because she knows something is wrong. The bond is out.
Yep.
She ends up talking to Bran, and Bran tells her, blow up the bond. And she's like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? So she doesn't really know. So, eventually, I guess Adam heard some of this conversation. And so when they go to have a private conversation to her shop. And this is one of the craziest scenes. So he goes to turn off the cameras, goes to look at the cameras. He's in the shop. And then his voice changes. He has like a whole different persona about him. And she's like, what is going on? So she goes to talk to him and he says like, stay there, don't come out here. And she like, what? What the fuck? So come to find out, he's in this rare form. He's a monster, a full blown monster who actually tries to kill himself. And Mercy at that time, she figures out a way to like put a pearl in their bond and send him a message like, you fucking don't you dare kill yourself.
Don't you dare.
You'll regret it for the rest of your life. I'll drag your ass back here, basically. So he doesn't kill himself, but he goes for the gun.
Damn.
He's gonna do it. I'm like, oh my God.
God
so
damn, Adam.
Yeah. I'm like, your ass, he's broken. He's broken.
Fuck Christy.
Yeah.
Christy did a lot of this to him.
Yeah. And of course, also, he was in a war. So he feels guilty about killing people.
Oh,
he feels guilty even about children. Like a lot of people in his dreams or in his, when he thinks about them, a lot of them have blank faces except for the children. You can see the children. So it's like he really carries a lot of guilt about that. And she's trying to, so I guess essentially they seem to work through it at the end. Yeah, and the monster's still there.
Yeah.
He's under control. He's not feeling like he's going to just turn into the monster at any moment, but he's still there. Like the whole book he's fighting the monster while they're trying to find this, demon or whatever. But
the Fae creature
that turned out to fucking be Rumpelstiltskin.
Really?
This book? You didn't read this book?
No, I did read it, and we've talked about it on the podcast. I just forgot it was Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, it was some dumb shit like Rumpelstiltskin. I'm like,
damn.
Because Uncle whatever, the
Uncle
Fae
Mike.
guy, Uncle Mike says something about like we can't say his name, and I think Beauclair comes and calls her and gives her some information as well, and he also says, I can't say this, but I can say that type of thing. And she's like, I don't know how she's thinking about some kind of, I don't remember how she came to this, but she makes a deal with him. Like, okay, we're going to fight or whatever, make a deal. And then in the end, she takes him to her ground, like her mental ground to fight. And of course, what's her ass shows up. Underhill shows up.
Damn.
Yeah, because he has her power because it was a deal they made.
Yep.
And she gave him the power to do all this stuff, and she wanted her power back because she was collecting all her shit back, and he didn't want to give it to her. And so, and she ended up calling him Rumpelstiltskin, and then he just goes. I'm like, the fuck, Rumpelstiltskin. I was like, okay, things just got really weird.
Yeah, that's a weird.
You don't remember that? I was tripping because it was Rumpelstiltskin.
I remember, like, he's in the hare form and she's chasing him as the coyote, and then she's like, and then it bites her. I remember that because that's the beginning, but I forgot the Rumpelstiltskin part.
Yeah, because he was just biting everybody and amassing power. As he bit people, he was amassing power.
I remember that, but I did not remember the ending, so thank you.
Yeah, so shrunk his ass back down to size, because the minute he, like, battled her on her ground, she was able to separate out, like, the power from Underhill, and then he was like, she cheated! Like, no, she didn't. She cheated.
Yes.
She didn't take it. That's what happened. Sorry. And he kind of just says, well, answer this one true question or something, some bullshit. And that's how she ends up calling him that. And
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it was very different. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that shit. I kind of tripped out when I saw Rumpelstiltskin. I'm like, what? What? Yeah, but that was Smoke Bin. It was very interesting story.
So you also just reread Soul Taken.
Oh, Soul Taken. This was actually not my favorite. Shockingly, I only rated this 4 out of 5. Only 4 out of 5. Yeah. So in this one, it's essentially all about, I can't remember. It was called a scythe. Is that what they wanted to call it? And it was like this movie. They're like, oh, everyone's got to go see this movie. It's about this, and it turns out to be a real thing. It's a real Fae artifact. And at the beginning, let me go back. At the beginning of the book, they're all having a fun time, throwing pumpkins at each other in a maze, and they're having a good time. And then afterwards, they go and get steaks. They go to Uncle Mike's, and they have a great time. And at the end of that, before everyone leaves, he says, Sherwood, stay back a minute. We want to talk to you. And Zach stays. And, they have this conversation. And they have this, I know you are dominant, and we cannot carry on this way.
Yes.
What needs to happen?
Ooh,
let's talk it out. And then Sherwood's like, are you going to force me to have this conversation? They're like, okay. All right. And then they kind of just figure out who he is and what's what and how he's able. And Zach actually remembers, wait a minute, I remember he was with a pack for a long time, however many decades ago. And he wasn't the alpha, he wasn't the one in charge. And he's like, I don't know how I did that or the circumstances of that. So it's like his memory still has some gaps. But actually, I think that's actually going to tie into Alpha and Omega, because in book, the last one, what was it? Wild Sign?
Yeah.
Bran was talking about how pissed off he was because Sherwood couldn't remember what happened with Leia because his memory. So now he kind of has his memory back, some of it. So that's kind of how it starts.
That was happening in Stormcurse. I forgot to mention Sherwood. But yeah, his wolf would pop up. So as they dealt with witches, Sherwood, the human, would say, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't know what's going on. And at one point, his wolf took over, so he still looked human, but it was his wolf speaking.
Yes.
And he was like, they don't have any other zombie werewolves. This was my brother. He's at peace now. And then he did a whole bunch of magic. A whole bunch of really
how do you know? He knows how to do a bunch of stuff. What's going
on, Sherwood? The human side doesn't want to remember, but the wolf itself, it knows. So yeah, when did he join the pack? Was that Fire Touched? Because he joined right before Bran ended things with them. So it's either Night Broken or Fire Touched.
Oh, actually, we could probably look at this spreadsheet and it will tell us, because they actually mentioned that they had sent him off after, let's see, what Alpha and Omega book was it? After Dead Heat. So I think, yeah, you're right. It was either Night Broken or Fire Touch, one of those.
Yeah. I think it was Fire Touch, but I need to reread it to make sure. And
Yeah,
honestly, talking about all of this makes me want to reread everything.
Yeah, same. Because, he joined their pack not knowing who he was. And of course, it's so funny. Everyone was taking bets. And Mercy's like, oh, people are going to be so mad they lost the bet. It's so funny. So, yeah. So that is how it kicked off. And then what happened?
Well, this book is about Wolf, Wulf.
Yes.
The witch slash wizard slash vampire creepy motherfucker.
Marcelia's like little attack dog.
So this also ties back into Stormcursed because everything ties into everything. During the battle, Mercy touches Wolf and says, "Be at peace." And after that, he says, "I am at peace and I will never forgive you, or I will hate you forever." He says something like that. And that really comes into play in Soul Taken.
Yeah.
He is kind of being controlled, I guess. You reread
He is being controlled, but it's like he's fighting it, but he definitely is being controlled. He has killed, in this form, but every time he gets a chance to fight it, he does.
Yes.
Like, he almost just, like, for example, I think he gave Mercy at some point, like, this belt he had.
Yes.
And she just kind of just figures out, well, he's in there because he had a chance to, like, kill me and he didn't. And so she ends up getting him uncursed or unsoul taken.
Yes.
By giving him enough, I guess, motivation to break himself free, for lack of a better, I guess because this item meant something to him, it held some kind of power for him.
Yes. Yes.
So, of course, he thanks her again, but not before, he's in that, they're all trying to hunt looking for stuff. They're going to the sea. They're looking around. They're trying to figure out what's what. And he's in there, like, creeping them the fuck out, like, trying to attack them.
Yep. Because he is one scary motherfucker.
He is.
And he has been scary since day one.
Yeah. So I remember they're in this room. Her and Warren got separated because he went to look. She's in the bathroom. And she's like, well, Warren's taking a long time. Let me go look. His ass knocked out on the ground. And that's when she has this, like, fight with him. Like, oh, shit. Yep. But he doesn't kill her.
Nope.
And he could have, but he didn't. And he didn't kill Warren either. He knocked his ass out, but he didn't kill him. But in that same moment, let's, like, a little side note to that, like, Warren has an attitude. Warren has a fucking attitude.
That fucking thing. Oh my God.
Why do you have an attitude, Warren? What is it? He's being mean to Mercy. So what does she do? Fine, we're gonna look in every fucking book in this whole entire house because we have to look at everything.
Everything.
So she pays him back, by equally pissing him off. And then it turns out it's his car. It's a new car that's making him freak out. His wolf freak out. A car
because his partner Kyle bought him the car, and when he bought it, his intention was I want to keep him safe, to be safe.
Yeah,
and so now it's very much gotta keep you safe. Gotta keep you safe.
Like, imagine if my car does this, and sometimes I want to murder it. Like, it starts dinging for no fucking reason. I'm like, I am a million miles away from that car. Why are you dinging? So his car is, like, constantly out of windshield washer fluid. It's constantly buzzing and dinging and, like, chirping at him, and he can't figure out how to turn the shit off. And it's because it was said with a little bit of magic, a little touch of magic that Z was able to contain. He said, he's like, come back if it starts again.
That was the most annoying thing. I wanted Warren to be really upset about something big. It felt like she was building up and building up and building up and making it this huge deal. And then it's just his car. It felt like such a letdown.
Yeah, like it was so minor. Like you could have just came to Mercy, who works on cars, at the very beginning and said something wrong with this damn car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows 3 mechanics that he could call at any point. And no, he just had to be annoyed and pissy with everybody. It was so frustrating.
Yeah.
I wish there had been something else that was bothering him.
I agree. It was so minor in the whole grand scheme of things, and how quickly it was to fix that. Like, that's all it took. Like, you were marching around here, and he only really did that because Adam said, you got like 3 days to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to figure it out for you.
No, there needed to be something else, not just the car.
That was kind of lame. Like, that was like a letdown.
That was a big letdown. That's a 4-star instead of a 5-star.
See? See? That was like kind of whack. That was weak. But yeah.
So weak.
But yeah, basically, and what's his face came back, and Bonorata came at the end, the final showdown. So after Wolf freed himself, oh my God, he got Adam to snatch that thing right out of his hand. And then Adam was almost taken by the soul catcher thing. And he pulled on the pack to free himself. And he did get free of it, but just barely. Just barely.
He eked by.
Yeah, he was fighting with his monster. He wasn't in wolf form. His monster came out to play.
Because his monster does like Mercy. I think his monster loves Mercy and will protect her just as much as Adam or his wolf would.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so that happened. And then everyone came and saw the after effects after he got in his helicopter and took off.
Oh, Bonoratu. There's going to be a reckoning with him. I wonder if it's going to be the Fae that eventually take him out or somebody else. But so Adam, of course, wanted to kill him and silence Fallen because he took Mercy, and he had to say, everybody talk me out of killing him right now. And so Larry and Marsilia and even Stefan were like, if you kill him, there's going to be a huge power vacuum for all the vampires. Every vampire ever is going to want to fill his shoes. And there's going to be a bloodbath of vampires killing each other, possibly outing each other, trying to take over. And it's kind of like, yeah, he's evil and awful, but it's better to deal with what you know than to create new problems. So
he didn't kill him. So now here we are. So he's like a long-running villain. I don't know what it's going to take or how long Briggs will keep him around before she finally offs him for good. He's like that villain that just comes back in just to rib at you and make your life miserable for a book, and then he flies off in his helicopter again.
Just wants to fuck with you for a little bit, and then... Yeah.
And I mean, he did promise Mercy at the end there. He was so disgusted. He's like, it's you. I will make your life miserable for the rest of your life. Every time, because she was getting these random calls during that book too.
Oh yeah,
and it was him like crank calling her. It was like every time something bad happens, it's me. Like he was trying to boogeyman her. Like,
and she just rolls her eyes. Like, yeah. I've met worse than you. You're not that bad.
Yeah, he was trying to threaten that he would just make her life miserable until she dies. Kind of thing. But we shall see. I don't know. So that's where it ends.
There's one more thing that I want to bring up.
Yes.
So Wild Sign, the latest Alpha and Omega book. We're skipping everything up just to the epilogue. So throughout the last several books, Samuel and his mate Ariana, who is Faye, have just been, off doing their own thing. At one point, they decided to go to Africa to help a friend with Doctors Without Borders or something. They've just been gone. Mercy will call them every once in a while, but they're not helpful. Let's just say they're not here to
I mean, they're
fight
out of the
battles.
loop.
Yeah,
They
they're out of the
can't.
loop.
Yeah.
Well, in the epilogue, Charles and Anna are home. Somebody knocks on the door. It's Samuel holding a baby and says, "This is my daughter, but you have to take care of her for me. Because if the Fae know what she is, they will come for her. And I will visit when I can, but I will only be Uncle Samuel. You have to be my daughter's parents."
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
He doesn't even name the child. Anna goes, "What's his name? What's her name?" You know?
And he says,
you figure it out.
You name her.
Yeah. Like, there's a Fae name because, his wife is Fae. But that doesn't matter. No one uses the Fae name. So you choose.
Yeah. You choose. You figure it out. And so that is where the Alpha and Omega series ends. Or books end for now. The next book 7, comes out next year. So it's going to be really interesting.
I know. I can't help but wonder if she's going to time jump at all, because there's nothing worse than like years of an infant.
Well, let's see. So the next Mercy book takes place 2 months later. 2 months after Soul Taken, and I think Soul Taken was like 1 month after Wild Sign. So technically, this is 3 months after they get the baby. So this baby's going to be like 6 months old, maybe. Like this is a baby. My theory, because I haven't read this yet, I've used so much willpower not to open this book and devour it.
I know, right? We've been like rock stars with refraining.
So good. I'm still like, I can't even crack the spine open because then I'll just start reading the synopsis on the side. But like, I think it's going to be all about the baby. I think Adam and Mercy are going up and helping Charles and Anna with the baby because the Fae find out and they have to figure shit out.
So you think she's going to Bran's area, like back to where they are?
I think so. I think they're going to Bran's pack.
Okay.
That's my theory. What's your theory?
Honestly, I kind of feel like we're not done with Wolf. There's something there.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Well, I know we're not done, but I'm hoping we address it kind of sooner than later. Maybe it might be something with Stefan, or maybe something with, there's so many loose ends. Honestly, it could be anything. But I mean, honestly,
the Hardesty witches are still out there. The government is still out there. There's shit going down with the Fae that needs to be addressed.
Underhill's still a fucking problem.
Underhill is a problem.
Yeah.
The other vampires, there are sleeper cells everywhere. Did they get every sleeper cell, or are there more? Bonaratu, who just promised to destroy Mercy's life. Wolf, does he feel at peace? Is Mercy helping him or making him worse? Like, now that he's free from this, what is he gonna do to Mercy?
He's gonna like do something wild. I don't know what. Like, he's gonna try to take her. I feel like he's gonna try to take her for his own.
I think at some point he will, but because we just had the Wolf book and Bonaratu, Patricia Briggs is really good about, jumping between bad guys. So Bonaratu we had in book 10, and now he's back in book 14. So there was some space between them. Hopefully it won't be another 4 books before he shows up.
Well, it's Fae stuff still. We have Fae stuff to come back around to. We haven't seen that actively.
Not really.
In a minute.
They're in the background. So that's why I think this is going to be a Fae book. Because we've dealt a lot with the witches. We've dealt a lot with Underhill. We've dealt a lot with the vampires and all of this other stuff. I think it's time for the big, scary Fae to come to play. I think it's going to be a big, something to do with the baby, something to do with half Fae kids.
Okay. So now that we've made our suggestion. Oh, don't worry. I did not read it. I just, I was trying to flatten it. So I just put it in here because it was on my desk. I did not start it. Oh, let me put it back. Yeah, I was just trying to flatten it because it was tied. Anyway, I tricked you. No. Oh, let me take this out. So now I want us to like read the synopsis right now.
I don't know if I can. If I read it right now, I will just start reading the book today, and then I will not finish.
We're at the end. At the end.
I know, but we're recording in like 2 weeks, so
okay. I'm diving in as soon as we get off this call.
I mean, I want to, but I also have work to do. I also
chicken.
Okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's read it.
Okay, let's read it. Wait a minute.
Oh shit.
Oh,
I was wrong.
No, she's not talking about Charles. She's talking about
Gary. Her brother, Gary. Unless some person who's not Patricia Briggs or Ann Peters, the trusty assistant, wrote this and decided to say brother to keep it obscure, this is about Gary.
I feel like it's about Gary.
I think this is about Gary.
Arcane and ancient magics are at work.
So
ancient magics.
Coyote's gonna be
Coyote.
And
Gary.
I think I was very, very wrong about everything.
But they're in Montana, so
Brain is near.
Yeah.
But
we were both wrong.
Well, at least I was right, because I said that they were gonna go to Bran's pack, and so at least I was like in the right direction.
And you know what? While they're there, but it sounds like, okay, when it says, okay, so in the synopsis, it says, trapped with strangers in a lodge in the heart of the wilderness. Mm-hmm. That makes me feel like this is going to be one of those like one room, one location type books. Ooh. Where you're trying to solve a mystery or something is happening and you're not traveling all around. You're just in one spot.
Mm-hmm. Like a Clue style murder mystery where you're trapped in the house and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm like, one remote lodge. Mm-hmm. So this is like Honeymoon Part 2. Like you fucking go somewhere and it's like
6 books later.
Yeah,
we're back at this.
We're back at it. And this time her brother. And so that means obviously if her brother's involved, Coyote's involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fuck. I have work I need to do, but I don't want to work. I don't want to work.
Guess who don't have work to do? Me.
Lucky. You're so lucky.
I'm going to dive in today. And you know, honestly, I think if I have to reread this before we meet again, I will. Mm-hmm. But I want it now.
Yes.
And if I have to redo, I will redo.
Yes.
That's where I'm at with this right now because I'm really curious. We spent all this time. So you guys, please, we've spent over 2 hours talking about this. We've never done something like this before. Let us know how we did.
There were details don't say missed.
That. I know. We didn't. If we went into each detail of each plot, we'd have been here for 4 hours.
More like 10 hours.
Yeah, we'd be here a long time because we couldn't walk through each book. Mm-mm. We couldn't do that. So if you really hated it, keep it to yourself. But if you liked it or you thought, you know, you have a couple of easy, light going, not too harsh critiques, we'll take that.
Be nice to us, please.
Be nice, be kind, because this is our first time doing something this, like a lot of books like this.
Yeah.
So,
and we didn't read all of them. This is from memory.
We did not go back to book 1.
I read 3 books out of the
I read 3.5.
17 books we just talked about. I read 3 of them.
Yeah, I read
recently.
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, actually you should join us on future reading sprints because we were reading these books on reading sprints on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. Shows up in all those places. And you can also give us your 2 cents while we're on the reading sprints. And join the book club, you guys, because right now there's a vote out about us reading the Alpha and Omega books. But by the time this airs, the vote is over. You'll find out.
Yes.
Hope you were in the group. If not, join us now. You can join at any time and start reading those with us or something else because we'll see how the vote turns out. So this is me from the past, you know. Yes. Several weeks back. So we'll have to see. So I think we're done, Casey. What do you think?
We're done.
I'm exhausted.
I need a snack. I definitely need a snack.
I need a snack. I've had my water, but I'm like starving. I didn't eat lunch today. I had like 2 eggs this morning.
Yes, let's go make lunch for ourselves.
Yes. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you're still listening, that means you listened to the entire thing, and we appreciate you greatly for doing that.
So much. Thank you.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.